Yo, what's the business? Your local neighborhood super rig off in this thing. Here with my boy, China, straight out the ATL. What's poppin', dog?
What's good, man? Ready to get into it, man.
Yo. All right, so this is a new segment. This will show up on This Current Culture. However, this is a new segment. I wrote a book. I started on the book. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got to the second page back in 2017, and you might still be able to find this page on Facebook if you look. It was called The Art of Caking, and it was to show people how to get into relationships, but it was different forms of caking. I'm not gonna give y'all all the sauce. I'm gonna slowly trickle over the sauce, but it was basically a book to help people have healthy interactions with the opposite sex. No disrespect to you same sex people, but I'm sorry, I just don't know how that works. I can't give you any advice on some shit that I don't know how it works. Now, China is my boy. We are very similar. When in this online world, it's a lot of dudes that seem to have problems either getting girls or communicating with women or a whole bunch of shit. And gotta be honest, never had that problem ever. My homeboy here never had that problem. Just never had that problem. And I wanted to. Both of us are married. How long you been married, my brother?
6 years.
6 years. I believe I'm 2 years now. I think we about to go. I think 2022 is when we got married and stuff. I believe so. He been married for a long time. I was at his beautiful wedding and stuff, and I got married at the courthouse. Tomato, same shit though.
We
And
all get we all get married at the courthouse. That's what they don't want to say, but
that's
yeah,
yes. We got married at the
I got married
courthouse.
at the
Yeah,
courthouse too.
yeah.
We
That's
just had
that's
a
facts.
we had a ceremony. That's what it is.
There you go. And we had a ceremony at the Golden Corral. Now
That's fine.
the
Nothing wrong with that.
thing about this is I've met his wife, beautiful woman, goal oriented, career oriented. Now she is a beautiful mother of three. Is three? Is two or three on third on the way?
Two, and then one on the way.
All right. And with mine's, I have a complicated story, but as of now, she is a beautiful mother of our son who is 18. And with my situation, it was a big gap in between. But that's just how life goes sometimes. But I'm bringing all this to say that this new show or segment is you can, regardless of all the bullshit out here, this man versus woman shit, or the mid gal shit, which is men going their own way, which is a part of the red pill shit. Are you familiar with the red pill community?
No, I know what red. I mean, I'm like the Matrix. Red pill, blue pill. That's
All right.
far as I go. Yeah.
So is this shit called mid gal, which is men going their own way. So it's MGTOW, mid gal, right? And
hmm
this started, a while back. It's always been different names for it. Now it's called red pill, which is you take the red pill like in the Matrix. Now you know the truth, and they teach you the true nature of women on how you don't get finessed and done dirty or whatever. And men going their own way, basically a lot of these dudes was like, yeah, women are only for sex, and if it's not about that, you don't need to deal with them, and da 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 da. So now women have something similar. It's called 4B. Now, before we get into the 4B stuff with the red pill, there was, the relationship gurus or just the men versus women gurus. You had Kevin Samuels, who said a lot of shit that was true, but he blew up off of the salacious shit where he was, chopping whether it's men or women down. Most people said he was chopping down women, but I heard him chop down dudes too. And when I say chop down, depending on your perspective, he was giving people a dose of reality, right? I mean, let's be honest. If you's a 400-pound dude and you ain't got no job and you stay with your mama and you not a cute in the face on top of that, of course you're not going to be getting women. And on the vice versa, yes, you could be a master degree holding woman and about to be the boss at your job and stuff. But if you are also 400 pounds and also not cute in the face, gonna be honest, your pickings are gonna be slim. Everybody think they gonna pull up Precious, but that's not gonna happen for everyone. All right. So he was just putting that out there, right? So our whole podcast, our episodes are kind of gonna be from the average person, somebody that ain't ugly. And now I do consider myself above average to myself. I think it's a plethora of people that probably think I'm ugly. Guess what? Those people don't matter. And man, I ain't gonna lie. It's a couple of people that told me I was ugly. Let me smash anyway. But that's a whole nother group of stories right there we go into. But this is for the average person that just wants to be in a average relationship. And we here on this podcast believe, and let me know if you agree with this, we believe that not only is nothing wrong with the word average, not only is the majority of people average, but you should strive to be average, period. And when I say be average, if you make straight A's, then you have an A average, right? Maintain that average and maintain that average in the rest of your life. Average don't mean selling and being an F. Average just means whatever you do, be consistent with it and maintain it, all right? Second thing we want to undemonize is the word settle. We all settle for something every day. When you wake up in the morning and you go to Starbucks, if the line is too long, you might go to Dutch Bros. But don't nobody say, oh, I just settled for Dutch Bros. No, they be like, you know what? I went and got some coffee up for Dutch Bros. But when it come to dating and shit, the word settled is you might say, you know what? I need a big booty bitch, but she is also Michelle Obama's best friend. And if I don't get that, I'm settling and I refuse to settle. You gotta be a lonely motherfucker. Lonely motherfucker. Because I can only assume, I'm making an assumption, but I don't think Michelle Obama even has big booty friends like that. I think she has nice, slim, trim friends that might have a little bump, but you not gonna meet no slump, buttocked Michelle Obama friend. And let's say she does have a slump bump friend. You ain't gonna meet her. You ain't gonna get nowhere in the vicinities of Michelle Obama because the Secret Service will snipe your ass. So with that being said, you gonna have to settle for somebody with the slumper, and she might not be friends with the previous president's wife, but she might be friends with the president of the car club down the street's wife. Okay? Is that settling? Maybe, but are you happy? We go undemonize the word average and undemonize the word settle. Because guess what? I settled for my wife, and she settled for me. He settled for his wife, and she settled for him. I can guarantee you his wife could have pulled somebody doper than him. I guarantee you. But on the same token, he could have pulled somebody, quote unquote, doper than his wife. But what is doper when you like who you with? If you enjoy who you are with and you really love them and locked in with them and y'all get along, you said something earlier. If you get along with a motherfucker, ain't no doper, ain't no better.
Yeah,
ain't
that's
no
true.
better.
That's
If
true.
I get along with you and we have fun, we can laugh. When we get mad at each other, it ain't no I hate you. It's just you piss me off, motherfucker. I'm gonna talk to you in 20 minutes. If you can find that, ain't no better. And I think that whole grass is greener is the problem. When over here, we want you to water your own damn grass. Now, don't get it twisted though. If your grass is just inundated with weeds, sometimes you do just have to dig up the whole yard, get rid of that bitch, and start all the way over.
That's true.
But we gonna talk about that too. But that shouldn't be your first thing. Your first thing shouldn't we ain't talking about if you getting slapped in the mouth now. You getting slapped in the mouth, you need to get the fuck out. But other than getting slapped in the mouth, we watering grass over here, all right? So I did all that because that's the first episode. That's what we're gonna be talking about. Now we're about to go into this 4B movement because it is trending on the most horrific app that has been created on Earth, and I can't wait till it. If I want America to fucking deport anything, I wanted to deport this punk ass app and this TikTok. What's trending right now is on TikTok. It's called 4B. It's basically women going their own way, the woman version of the big gal shit, but it's much, much more deeper than that. I found the video to explain it for both of us, me and you, China, because it is very amazing. This channel we are about to watch, this is from a woman. Her name is Shayna Conde. And guess what? My wife still love me even though I got a 4th grade reading level, okay? Let's see. Let me share this. And we are going to watch her video and she's going to speak on this and we will be doing our what's the word I'm looking for? Let me make sure I don't show this damn preview in this stuff too. Sorry guys. Show my screen share. Wait, unchecking this doesn't end the stream. Yes, that's what we want to do. All right. Can you see the screen, China?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so this seems like a fairly attractive woman. I was gonna say that all the 4B women is ugly, but on TikTok they were though. But she seems, like she is not ugly. I'm sorry if I offend anybody with my language. We're not supposed to call people ugly, but I just called myself ugly earlier. So if I can call myself ugly, y'all can deal with me calling anybody else ugly, all right? That's just how it goes. But she is definitely not ugly. I thought she would be talking what she about to talk. Now, the person who is about to do the majority of the talking, I have no opinion on attractiveness level at all. I'll let you guys make your own decision. But listen to what the 4B movement is and let me know what you think about it. The title of this video is The 4B Movement Expanded and Men Are Terrified. Let's get into it. Oh, and go follow this young lady's channel. Even though she talk about basically fuck all niggas, men in general, she is pro women and she really just want them to improve themselves. And I ain't got nothing against that. Let's get into it.
The 4B movement was just the beginning. And this video is going to be structured a little bit differently because now more than ever, we really need to be uplifting other Black sisters, other Black women that are doing the work, because it has been made very, very clear that while we have already been supporting ourselves, we need to amp that up. We need to take and invest into ourselves in a way that we have not done before. So I will be doing that to the best of my ability by uplifting this woman that I will be showing you shortly. And she does have a YouTube channel. Feel free to follow her on here. But if you could follow her on TikTok, she's really, really, really close to getting monetized, to having the followers to get monetized. So if you could follow her on TikTok, I think that she's more active on TikTok. Also, that would be great. And she breaks down all of the evolutions of the 4B movement, not just in Korea, it's also expanded into China and other. It's fascinating, and she's done the work. So I'm going to show you the work that she has done. Don't forget to follow her. Yeah. Oh, and I'll be including her links for TikTok and YouTube here. Okay, now we're watching.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sasha Graham. I'm a radical feminist, female separatist, and I do outreach for the 4B movement. I have good news for all sisters. I'm working on a 4B deep dive.
Oh, and I just wanted to show the other chick first, because if I had to just show this chick, I'm not gonna use the word ugly. I'm gonna say, not.
I see what you did there.
But I didn't want people to be like, oh yeah, it's only a certain look of people. And before we get into this colorism shit, this ain't got shit to do with colorism, all right? This motherfucker just, if you put both of them, if both of them was the same shade, you put them next to each other, you tell me, motherfucker. Any damn way. I wanted to show that this is not about just looks and shit. This is a bunch of women really feel like dudes ain't shit. I'm talking about on the base level. Ain't even like, I'm talking about just base level. And I want to show dudes out there that you can't just be like, oh, it's this chicks that shaving their heads. So no, you never know who you go bump into and be like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm 4B. And then you be like, what the fuck? But so we gonna get into this. This is gonna explain the whole thing. And I'm also wanted to point out that she mentioned Korea. This started in Korea, and if you know anything about just Asia in general, especially the more advanced countries like South Korea or Japan, the birth rates are declining, and the women over there actually pay dudes for the sex and kicking it over there. Just to let you know just how crazy it is over there. But all right, she's gonna explain the 4B movement. Let's continue.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sasha Graham. I'm a radical feminist, female separatist, and I do outreach for the 4B movement. I have good news for all sisters. I'm working on a 4B deep dive. Today, I want to get into the expansion of the 4B movement into the 5B movement, the 6B movement, the Chinese iteration of the 6B4T or 10BT movement, the 7B movement, the 8B movement, and the 8B4T movement. Let's get into it. So the 4B movement is an initiative to gain female economic and political power. The 4B principles teach us that this is achieved through separatism from male power and influence. That means no sex with men, no dating men, no marrying men, and no childbirth. A lot of women's time and potentials are wasted in pursuing the expansion of social capital for male people. That means providing them with free labor, advocating for their causes, prioritizing male concerns, generally all the things that don't benefit female people. Separatism generally makes it easier for female people to navigate a globally hostile political climate and economic distress.
All right, we gonna pause right here. That was just the 4B movement itself, and I wanted to go into depth on what she said. I'm gonna repeat what she said at the end, and you tell me your thoughts on this.
All the things that don't benefit female people. For their causes, prioritizing male concerns, generally all the things that don't benefit female people.
All right, so she said deprioritizing male concerns, generally anything that that goes against, female betterment in any way. And when I heard her say this, I was like, hold on. It's a lot of stuff that we do that without, because we are humans, right? But without our species, our sex of human, a lot of stuff wouldn't exist. What do you feel about this? And I wish I should have found the video on why this movement started. I think I'm gonna go find a video and come on it. But just based off of what she said this movement is, what thought processes do you have about it just based off of this period?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get too deep, but I'll say that women women across the world are marginalized. Okay. Women are disenfranchised. People forget that women didn't have the right to vote, I believe, not until 1920, if I'm not mistaken. So it's only been 100 years that women have been able to participate in what we call a democracy in the United States. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think women wasn't even allowed to drive until 2014 in Saudi Arabia. I don't know the exact year, but it wasn't too long ago. Women couldn't drive. I think, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I've been to Dubai. I get on Dubai in a minute, but I know in Saudi Arabia, you can't start a job. You can't get a job. You can't work. You can't start a business or buy a car or set up a bank account without the man's permission. That's in Saudi Arabia.
And it was like that in America up until I think like 1940 or some shit like that.
So yeah. I don't know too much about like that as far as
40.
America, but I do know women. Yeah, women. I think women wasn't even able to work in the United States until World War I or II. That whole picture with the white woman. She got her arm like this. That's when because all the soldiers was overseas and they was dying. They didn't have nobody to work into the plants. So, and then if you think about the femicide, that's the femicide. I think it's called femicide in Kenya. 500 women have been killed by their husbands. I believe in the last 6 years, five or
Dang.
so. That's the murder count. That's what's been recorded. I don't know what's been not been recorded. If people watch the Olympics, I forgot her name, but she was from Uganda, but she lived in Kenya. She was a Kenyan citizen, but she was Uganda. She was Uganda by her ethnicity, her race, and she was a gold champion
Mm.
of track of the 400-meter race. She was the gold medalist for Kenya. She was burned alive by her husband because she won that medal
Wow.
because of jealousy. In
Wow.
Kenya, in Kenya, they are experiencing. You can Google this. In Kenya, they are experiencing the highest level of femicide on planet Earth right now.
Mm.
Femicide is basically mean your lover, your husband, your boyfriend, is will murder you. These
Mm.
femicide basically means your enemy is basically your husband or your boyfriend. So those are what I can recollect. I don't know about the rest of the world, but you do see when you travel around the world, even some in like America, there is a narrative, there's a notion that women are somewhat weaker than men in all points of life.
Mm.
Money, creativity, jobs. Women, we do have an unequal pay for the same job, same pay in the same position in America. That's something that women are still fighting for. It is unequal pay. So for her, so to get, I just want to give context and say I understand exactly where that movement may be coming from. And to be fair, I don't know if I would. I said to be fair, if women are doing that to gain political balance to where their concerns are voiced and they believe if it's like a world movement to like where women are grouping up, I'm all for that. Because to be honest, man, like men, like the number one in America, I know the number one predator of rape is men. Men commit, I think, 90 something percentage of all rape.
Mm.
If women are walking down the street and they're clutching their purses and they're trying to figure out, it ain't because there's another woman. It's
Mm.
because it's a man. I
Mm.
think there's thousands and thousands of stalker cases that happen in the United States.
Mm.
Um, if you go to any strip club, most of the patrons in strip clubs are men. They're in there paying women to get naked and dance. You can look at that however you want as adult entertainment, but it's maybe you can argue if that's exploitation. Women have a right to do that or not, but I'm not gonna go into this whole thing like I'm a feminist, but I'm just saying I see if I'm putting myself in a I'm putting myself in a woman's shoes and say to myself like it is kind of fucked up for women out here, bro. It's fucked up for women. Like if you're a woman, like you couldn't pay me to be a woman. I'm sorry. Like it is fucked up.
I'm talking
Like
about a bill. You could not give me Bill Gates and fucking Elon Musk and the entire Czechoslovakia uh treasury amount of money to be a woman.
man, listen, bro. I was just in hell I was at. Where was that? Earlier this year. Yeah, earlier this year I was in at a hedge fund convention. Tech finance is dominated by men. Dominated. So I'm at this convention and it's like all the guys are getting together and they got these suits on and like, yeah, the projections of the whatever, and we're gonna make millions of dollars off this apartment complex and we're gonna buy this strategy and it's just like rah, 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 rah. And there were women there. It wasn't a lot. It was probably out of like 500 men, it was probably maybe 30 women. I think I'm exaggerating that. It might have been 17. I don't know. But I'm paying attention to the women there, and you can tell like they got their suit, they got like their females, that Hillary Clinton suit, and they're trying to get into conversation. They're trying to like find their vibrato in between all these conversations, and you could just see the struggle with women trying to kind of find that you could tell they're, 9 times out of 10 they're probably smart as shit, because like, how do you even know about this convention? Like, the reason that you're there, you know you can compete, and it's like you could tell like the men were not at at all paying any attention to maybe if they wanted to interject or wanted, like, there was no inclusion, there was no like, how are you? If there was talk about like how the woman looked, like how tight her pants was on her ass and how big her breast might have been. Like, you saw the misogyny there. Like, it's always
Mm.
around you. And it's like, me being a man, I recognize the misogyny right away when women are around, and you can tell the women want to be respected as a player. Like, they want to be respected as someone who brings value, someone who can compete. Women want to compete. They want to be competition in these situations. They know they have the skill set to play the game, but men are such in a boys club mentality where even if you were against the misogyny, you don't want to get kicked out of the club, because it's like, yeah, that is kind of fucked up what he just said, but it is what it is.
I
You
did
know,
pay.
so
I did pay a ticket to get in this bitch.
I don't want to be the dick that's like trying to be Captain Saberho, I guess. So all I'm saying is like, when I see stuff like this, I'm not I'm listening more than trying to judge, because I'm like, okay, I want to know how far they're going to go. But she said something important. She said she want to put some action in place to have a voice. She want to put some stance in the place of saying, we're going to come together to show men that if you don't respect us for being human beings and want to compete, then we want to go against you. My question is how far are they going to take this? I want to know if this is like, if this is going to turn into like violent. I don't know how, like, this is, maybe this create a man group of like, we just gonna beat y'all ass. I don't know. I'm just like a spectator at this point. I really don't want to say anything until I see what this is like. Are you starting your own political party? Like, it could be progressive. So I don't know. I'm trying to. I've never seen this before, so I'm just like, this 4B. I didn't know anything about 4B until you said this to me about 30 minutes ago. So I don't
Yeah.
know how to. I don't know how to conceptualize this.
So
Like, from what I'm saying right now, what she was saying, I'm not totally against what she was saying. It sounds like she just want to level up and do and do something, like do something positive. So I don't know. I don't know if it's negative or not. I don't know. I'm just
so you missed a couple of key pieces in there, and I also earlier, ladies, I need you to know when I said I wouldn't trade, for the Bill Gates and money and shit. It has nothing to do with the stuff that he was talking about. It's just because I'm sorry, I couldn't deal with a period. I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. And shouts out to all y'all for living through it. I would have been took myself out a long time ago. Now, with that being said, what she wants, all right, and unfortunately, I gotta be honest, y'all. In order to create a balance for this pod, with everything that he just said, now I am going to have to take the mantle of the bad guy and the misogynist of this, because I ain't go front, China. The knowledge you just dropped on me with the statistics about the femicide and all that shit, not only was I shocked at the numbers that you dropped, I was equally shocked that this nigga knew this shit. Now, what the fuck I'ma do? I ain't got no knowledge of that level, so
and
guess
this is
what?
to her point. This is probably why they're doing this, is because men are not paying attention,
It's,
and
it's true.
men probably most men can give a shit.
And I gotta be honest, ladies, I'm cool with taking the Tyler Perry role of the dark skinned bad guy for the rest of this pod, because he is clearly
No, to
no,
be
no,
fair,
because I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because everything you said is true. Some of this stuff I heard, I just didn't know the numbers and stuff, but everything you saying is true. I'ma just create the balance to it. Now, one thing I do have to correct you on, you remember the political power shit? No, they don't want to play with men no more. And when I say play, they don't want to be on the same playground with us. They want
Okay.
to build a completely different playground and not do no trade with us. If they was to build their own nation, it would be self-sufficient and no men. They would do no zero. And this ain't to change the status quo. This is to create their own status quo. Like if they could build a planet where it was nothing but them, we would not be allowed on the planet ever. If we created anything that even could help them, they would say no to it. They want to completely disavow any connection to men, period. Now, I know you said we going to go to the good old Wikipedia and to get to this 4B movement, and we're gonna do a little more deep dive before we go into her going into the T stuff, the TB shit,
Yeah,
right?
she had a lot of numbers. It was like 1B, 2B, 8, 9B.
Bro.
I was like, what is this? So, you
Bro.
know.
So here we go. All right. We about to go with this, and this is the Wikipedia, all right? So the 4B movement, all right, it stands for the Four No's. It is a radical feminist movement that emerged in South Korea during the mid to late 2010s on Twitter and on a website called Whoa Mad. That's a good name. The name refers to defining four tenets, which all start with the Korean language term "ba," which roughly means no. Its proponents do not date, get married, have sex, or have children with men. In the United States, interest in 4B increased after the re-election of Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential race. Social media videos primarily reflected the idea that men had voted against women's rights by voting for Trump, and that women should not engage with men, heterosexual sex, or pregnancy if they would not be respected as equals or have full legal access to birth control and abortion. With that being said, that's what this said on here. I'm gonna let her keep talking, and they on some other shit. You know how you got people that be on some almost, that it's some people that want it like what you saying, but the super supreme radical ones like fuck that shit. Like we ain't trying to fuck with dudes at all. The beliefs, the four core tenets of the 4B movement are no sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, no marriage with men. All right. Let's
But
see.
is it, I mean, lesbians, they do that already.
Do they really though? Do they?
They don't have sex with men. They don't marry men. They don't have children with men.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
just the right.
I
That's just a woman's right. That's just her choice.
I got a story about some.
I know, Sue. We ain't gonna get into all that. But I'm just,
Exactly.
I'll say this though. I'll say this though. Like, I kind of get where they're coming from with the Trump thing, because it ain't really Trump, is what Trump represents. Because
Mm-hmm.
Trump really I don't think Trump cares about any of this. You know what I mean? But I just think he just galvanizes people to have all these radical opinions about women and their rights and stuff like that, and just all kind of stuff. I'm not gonna go there, but I'm saying that Roe v versus Wade. Remember that?
Yes.
That's crazy. The fact, I just think it's crazy for men, a group of men, mostly white old men, probably all white old men, can just decide on what women can do with their body. And I don't know if those group of old white men know anything about a woman's reproductive system, or I don't know if they know anything. I don't even. I want to know their background. I want to know like what's their relationship with women. Like, can we like? All I'm saying is that if I'm a woman and somebody of an opposite sex is telling me what I can do with my dick and my balls, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Well, we go swerve off into the actual real reason, and then we go get back to this 4B shit. And the real reason is the exact same details that you mentioned, to where you was like, I don't see how. The reason old white men are saying no to abortions is because who gets the most abortions? White women. And remember earlier when you said we had a different conversation. Remember you said we was getting replaced by other minorities, right? Well,
Mhm.
the white men of this country, and if you look at the numbers, they are justified in this fear, feel that they are getting replaced by the minority of not just black people of one race, but I hate this term, but people of color as a whole are starting to overtake their numbers. So, since they think generations ahead, they don't just think, next year, the year after next. They head, if we can stop abortions, which our women are having the most of, then we can save our race from being eradicated and overtaken by the people of color. That is the reason why that they did that shit. Purely on some, in their mind, survival of the fittest type shit. Because as you said, most people like, why they give a fuck? That's why they give a fuck. Most of their women are at college educated and shit. And when we was talking about, you told me this, you was like, the smartest people don't want to be locked down in one place. What usually knocks down a motherfucker in one place the fastest? A kid. So a lot of they women like, I'm not having no kids. And a lot of POC, people of color, especially of other cultures, like, I'm having 15 kids. And
Yeah.
so them numbers are skyrocketing. So that is the reason. A lot of people like, I don't understand. They just want to control women. No. They want to control women, but in their mind is to save their race. So that is why. Now, for people
Even to be devil advocate with that is like, is that coming from men or is that coming from women? Are women having these conversations like we want to expand our race and
no, and that's
you
just
know?
it. They want to do, and of course, women not saying that. Women are like, I just want to go out and do motherfucker. I want to get drunk. And women, I'm not saying y'all are luscious and want to get drunk. What I'm saying is, women are. If I want to go get drunk, I don't want to have to worry about a second being in my body if I choose to do that. If I want to go travel the world for 20 years and shit, I don't want to have to worry about, oh well, I can't travel. If I travel too much in my 20s, I'll miss my prime years to have a kid. They just want to be free, especially the younger ones, right? And as you said, as we was talking about earlier about the economy and shit, that whole, you know what I'm saying, you find somebody when you 19, 20, y'all buy a house together by the time you 25, only the dude can work and afford everything and she rear the shit, that shit over, right? So a lot of people are acclimating that, but the old white men who actually do look at the actual numbers and shit are
The old
seeing,
world.
they seeing, but it ain't even the old world. It is true. Like, that ain't no conspiracy. Their numbers are dropping. So it's not that I can fuck it. I understand why they choosing it. Don't make it right, but I understand why they passing these laws. And if you dig deeper, a lot of people gonna be like,
Well, the thing is, I think she's combating that and saying you can pass whatever law you want,
well,
but
no, see,
we have the power. So they're actually representing a real republic, saying, yeah, okay, I might have voted you in, or you voted in as the representative of whatever said law. You could be a legislator all you want, but that's a republic. A republic reminds government that the power is in the people. She's doing that. So
no,
you gotta give her props to that.
I would say that, but they talking about, let's go back to what the group means. This ain't got shit to do with government. This says no sex with men. This my personal type shit I want to do type shit.
But it's gonna correlate to it's gonna correlate to that. At some point it's gonna bleed over into government. It's like, hold up, man, like this law we passed ain't working.
But this ain't, but you
You know
gotta
what I'm saying?
understand. You gotta understand. This started in Korea and it has shit to do with abortions and shit. So we go read.
But women are going through the same struggle across the board wherever you
But
go.
that's not why they chose this shit. We about to go deeper into this shit.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm learning, man.
This American version,
Uh-huh.
as you know, Americans take shit and either we can make it better, like we did Mexican food and pizza, or we can make it worse, like we
No,
did.
so no giving birth. Is that like I got pregnant? I'm just not going. I'm choosing
No,
not to
no, no,
have
no,
it.
no, 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 no. No sex with men should
Uh
lead to not giving birth.
okay,
And,
okay, okay.
but guess what? If you pregnant right now and you adopt this, immediate abortion. Okay,
Uh
all right.
uh.
Then after you stop fucking dudes, then if you was pregnant, you got rid of that bitch. After that, in order to stop the cycle of you having the sex with a man, you got to stop dating a man. So no more romantic shit, because stopping this is going to stop this. And you need to stop this first, though, so you can have the willpower to know you can live without a man, which will make it easier to not even date a man, which will make it easier to erase them from your even psyche. All right. Then, of course, the last one is no marriage. Now, check this out. The last one is marriage, right? Since 2005, the feminist activist group Uni Network has promoted Bion, or however you pronounce it, as a political agenda to challenge the centrality of heteronormative family model of marriage in Korea, which is, let's see, where was we at? Oh, okay, here we go. And heteronormativity, sorry guys, I can't read, make fun of me in the comment, is the concept that the heterosexuality is the preferred or normal sexual orientation and assumes the gender binary and that sexual and marital relations are most fitting between people of opposite sex. So
See
this,
this, see this, see this when you start to see the now this.
exactly.
See
So
this something different for
it,
me. I don't
it
that's beyond me right there.
But that's what I was trying to tell you, bro. That these American women taking it and mutating it to some other shit. But we gonna keep going, and then we gonna go to
This is
TikTok.
this see this is but this is this is probably going to end up being very radical. It's going to be like a radical group of women doing this. I don't think this is
What?
nothing to.
Wait till you get to the TikTok. All right, wait till you get, because you are correct. You are correct. However, it's a lot of shit that was radical when it first was introduced, and us old geezers was like, I don't think this go catch on. And next thing you know, the shit was everywhere. So you
I
always
don't know, man.
we
I don't
we
think these type of those type. I don't want to say
hey
those, but
hey, before we could drink at water fountains, it was old geezers that was like, I don't think those niggas gonna be drinking at water fountains next year. I don't give a fuck what they say. That was
mm,
radical to them. And I know you like, that's night and day. No, it ain't. It was normal for us to be like that. But we gonna get into it. I brought it
I
up.
tell you what. I'll tell you what though. I'll say this now. If that's for real, like what I'm seeing right now with this stuff going on in Korea, if it's bleeding over to the West, to the Western world, I'll say this: if this is really popping off in Korea, starting to become popular, it's because something's going on with the men over there that's got these women doing this.
What's going on. Well, we gonna get into it. The second, all right, is childbirth. All right. South
Uh,
Korea has the lowest birth rate in the world, with the fertility rate at just 0.7 as of 2023. Each South Korean woman on average will have fewer than one child in her lifetime. This is significantly lower than the 2.1 threshold required to maintain a country's population. Now, this is very significant to what I was telling you earlier about why the old white dudes is saying no abortions over here, because what's happening is that rate of birth in they shit they seeing, it's not occurring right as of now, but they seeing trending to these numbers here, and they are
mhm,
trying to get ahead of that, because if you get below the 2.1 threshold required to maintain a country's population, but fuck a country, a racist
mhm,
population,
mhm,
and you in control of that race, you gonna
mhm.
try to do something to stop it, ain't you? The country's birth rate has been below replacement rate since 1983. While the 4B movement originated in the 2010s, making it likely that the low birth rate is due to economic insecurity experienced by young adults, high child rearing costs and property prices, and the country's deeply ingrained patriarchal culture. These factors contribute to women's reluctance to embrace traditional roles of marriage and motherhood. And we got to realize, in Japan, South Korea, and shit like that, the same trend that kind of is happening over here. And we gonna get back. It was one stat that I wanted to push back on a little bit as far as the whole pay equality, right? Over there, women make more than dudes.
In South
Women
Korea.
in Japan too, they
Yeah.
out earn them. And
Yeah.
so a lot of men are feel very demasculated. And since women like, well, bitch, if you can't even meet me where I'm at, I don't even want to fuck with you. So a lot of them men over there just sit in their house and play video games and jack off to weird cartoon porn. Now let's move to so having the world's lowest fertility rate, the South Korean government has adopted pro-natalist policies aimed at incentivizing and increasing childbirth, such as stipends for new parents, increased maternal and paternal leave, and child care subsidies. A 2022 survey reveals that 65% of women, compared to 48% of men, do not want children. And the last one is romance or sexual relationships. Women of the 4B movement additionally refuse romance and sexual relationships because they see it as an extension of the patriarchal family structure. By embracing singlehood, they criticize the view of the pro-natalist state that female reproductivity is a resource for the nation's future. Now, let me break this down. And this goes back to what you were saying, how women do get treated, as second-class citizens in a lot of situations. They, even though I understand it, they are cool, and this is just a zoom out thought process, but they feel like men look at female reproductivity as a resource for the nation's future, which means is such a weird wording to me, because why wouldn't you want your nation to have a fucking future? Because if everybody dies off, there won't be a nation. But we about to continue, right? So two notable proponents, these are two of the people that I guess were a part of the beginning of it, criticized marriage as reinforcing gender roles in South Korea. The movement draws some amount of inspiration from a novel about some stuff. All right, so here go the history of it, right? The term 4B emerged from Korean feminist circles on Twitter around 2017 and 2018 after a highly publicized 2016 murder of a woman by a man. The murderer, who said he did it because women had ignored him, was not charged with a hate crime. The 4B movement was also a reaction to social media content, including misogynistic social media platform, whatever that is, which grew to prominence in 2014. I guess this is, it's a South internet forum that has predominantly far-right user base. Okay, so I guess it's like the Trump shit of Korea. The first 4B groups articulated their principles on the Korean feminist wiki site, Femi Wiki, where they originally defined 4B as the motto of radical feminism, which the word you use, radical, which means none marriage, none procreation, none relationship, none sex. The 4B movement gained broader recognition on Twitter in 2019 and through various feminist social media accounts. One notable feature of the 4B movement, as with other Korean digital feminist movements, is that members often identify themselves as anonymous women, as it is conventional to not disclose personal details online. This digital movement functions as an online community where women engage in open discussions about navigating and envisioning a future without men, not cohabitating with men, not creating an equal structure of political power. No, without men at all. It serves as a platform for women to vent their frustration and concerns about living in a conservative society while fostering a sense of solidarity. Additionally, the platform aims to motivate and inspire women to protest against dating, engaging in sexual relationships, getting married, and having children. Through a robust online presence, the movement seeks to raise awareness and recruit more advocates to amplify the impact. Although the exact membership remains uncertain, some unverified estimates suggest a range of 500 to 4,000 claimed participants. All right. Now, I'm going to skip this. Hold on. I'm not going to skip this because this is interesting. Then we going to get to the American versions of this shit. So, Escape the Corset movement. The Escape the Corset movement, which started in 2016, served as a source of inspiration for the 4B movement. The movement calls for women to liberate themselves from sexual, social, bodily, and from psychological oppression. The word corset is used by Korean feminists as a metaphor for the societal mechanisms that bind and repress women, including toxic beauty standards. Notably, South Korea has the 10th largest beauty market globally and is the 3rd largest exporter of cosmetics. In a society where beauty holds immense cultural and economic significance, members of the Escape the Corset movement criticize and resist cosmetic procedures, demanding skincare or makeup rituals, and the adoption of trendy clothing, all seen as perpetuating consumerism and misogynistic social norms. In protest, they expressed their defiance by destroying makeup, forgoing cosmetic enhancements, shaving their heads, and rejecting fashionable attire. Escape from Corset's analysis and approach to protest deeply influenced the 4B movement. Which brings us to, okay, we gonna go on and go through the whole thing. The Me Too movement of South Korea. Although the Me Too movement originated in the United States in 2006 and gained popularity in 2017, many other countries, including South Korea, created Me Too movements of their own. The Me Too movement in South Korea, like those in other countries, encouraged women to express their experiences of sexual harassment to inspire social change. Shortly after its inception in late 2017, several hundred women stepped forward with claims of sexual harassment and violence. This movement also led to women who were forced into sex work as a result of World War II and the Japanese occupation of Korea to speak out for the first time and in large numbers. The Korean Me Too movement also focused on femicide, which you mentioned, and non-consensual pornography and misogynistic practices in the workplace. The Me Too movement also inspired various online hashtags, campaigns, most popularly With You Tag, to signal solidarity with survivors of sexual assault who had spoken up in the Me Too movement. These various hashtags inspired the formation of women's activist groups such as Citizens Actions to support the Me Too movement, who campaigned to end gendered oppression and support victims of sexual abuse in South Korea, which you mentioned a lot of this shit previously. Now, let's get into the United States. After the 2024 United States presidential election in which Donald Trump won a second term, some women expressed interest on social media in the form of the 4B movement as a form of protest against Trump's election. His alleged sexual assault and his support for a law outlawing late stage abortions shortly after the election was called. TikTok videos mentioned 4B were viewed hundreds of thousands of times, and Google searches about it spiked 50%. American women have called the movement the Four No's and Lysistrata. It's a Greek goddess name. Y'all know what the hell it was. So let's see. I want to go into. All right. Transphobia and homophobia in the South Korean movement. I just wanted to see what this was going to be about. Wait. Hold on. In the spring, well, this is social media controversy. In the spring of 2024, in the Northern Hemisphere, South Korea's 4B movement was a popular topic on Western social media, and some English-speaking users on TikTok claim that South Korea's low birth rate was due to the 4B movement. Others claim that 4B movement's scale and impact are massively exaggerated. Now, the transphobia and homophobia thing, which I think is what you was kind of thinking when we first started reading about this, and it was talking about, I forgot the word that triggered it, but it said radical feminism as a whole in South Korea has had a notable transphobic and homophobic presence, with internal dispute about the acceptability of such beliefs. The 4B movement was significantly popular and widely publicly associated with the South Korean website WOMAD, which is openly misandric, homophobic, and transphobic. The website was founded because Maglia, which is the online community of social movement of South Korean feminists that began in May of 2015, had begun prohibiting homophobic and transphobic slurs. WOMAD members reportedly advocated for revenge against men, advocated for people to commit suicide, and some threatened violence and committed crimes against men. Any woman who had children were criticized as enablers of patriarchy, and some being likened to slaves. And see, this also makes sense because, I mean, if they was trans, they looked at that person as a man first above anything, which is the scientific truth. So of course they was like, fuck that shit. Now we go back to the chick that we was watching. Oh, I'm sorry, they definitely don't want me to call them chicks. To the woman that was speaking earlier, and go into the second part of the 4B movement expanded. All right. And oh no, what we gonna do actually, since it was only a minute long, we go re-listen to her shit. All right. And then we'll let it continue. Here we go.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sasha Graham. I'm a radical feminist, female separatist, and I do outreach for the 4B movement. I have good news.
And you hear what she said. She was a radical feminist and female separatist. Not no we work togetherist, but separatists. All right, let's continue.
For all sisters, I'm working on a 4B deep dive. Today, I want to get into the expansion of the 4B movement into the 5B movement, the 6B movement, the Chinese iteration of the 6B, 4T, or 10BT movement, the 7B movement, the 8B movement, and the 8B, 4T movement. Let's get into it. So the 4B movement is an initiative to gain female economic and political power. The 4B principles teach us that this is achieved through separatism from male power and influence. That means no sex with men, no.
And it's kind of funny because she mentioned political power, but then in the same breath said no political influence under or from men, which if that is the structure in place, you would have to interface with them in order to kind of be able to build your own, but that's a whole nother topic. But let's continue.
No dating men, no marrying men, and no childbirth. A lot of women's time and potentials are wasted in pursuing the expansion of social capital for male people. That means providing them with free labor, advocating for their causes, prioritizing male concerns, generally all the things that don't benefit female people. Separatism generally makes it easier for female people to navigate a globally hostile political climate and economic distress.
And I need to mention, when she said free labor, tell me what you envisioned when she said that.
Free labor for what? They want to do free labor?
No. They said, listen to what she said.
This is achieved through separatism from male power and influence. That means no sex with men, no dating men, no marrying men, and no childbirth. A lot of women's time and potentials are wasted in pursuing the expansion of social capital for male people. That means providing them with free labor.
What do you think she meant when she said providing them with free labor?
Oh, like, shoot, this whole 50-50 thing. Like, I think that I think a lot of, man, honestly, a lot of what she said, like, think about it. Like, if a woman is pregnant for 9 months with your baby, she has the baby, you go to work, she has to go back to work, she has to come home from work and take care of the baby, and the man gets to go to work, but y'all splitting the bills 50-50. That's free labor.
All right, so check this out. Let me tell you what she was referencing. Let's say y'all dating, ain't no kids involved. Y'all been dating for 6 months. You sitting in the living room was like, babe, can you make me a sandwich? And she'd look you dead in your face and be like, nigga, if you don't get up and make your own damn sandwich, I'm not your slave. That's what she talking about. When she say free labor, they mean doing anything. You got to understand, listen to the term she used. She's a radical feminist and separatist. So when you say the word radical, what I'm saying sounds radical, right? It sounds radical.
She's just against men. They just against men in all
period.
Facets.
In all facets. The free labor she's talking about. When you said the 50-50 shit about the pregnant shit, that's some normal, I understand what you saying shit. I'm talking about that whole, would you even want to date Would you even want to be a friend with a motherfucker who said make your sandwich your own self?
I don't think she wants to be friends with a man
No,
or
no,
a
no,
man.
but that's what I'm trying to tell you though. That's what I'm saying. You see how you took it to the 50-50 and the baby shit, which is some rational shit that any human being could understand. They talking about it all. So that's
Okay,
why
so
I asked you.
they don't even want to work with men.
They don't want to do
I don't
nothing.
really. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Bro,
If they want to go off and do their own thing, what's wrong with that?
Because I'm gonna show you some TikTok videos where they talking about if you married, you need to. Here's the recipe to kill your husband.
They're trying to convince normal women to be like them.
Yes, they trying to convince women that's married now or pregnant right now. Get rid of that motherfucker.
Yeah, that may be a little dangerous.
Period.
Now, that could be dangerous.
And it's telling you, it said no childbirth. When they say no childbirth, if you pregnant right now, you can no childbirth. So they mean eradicate that bitch right now. No marriage.
So
if you married,
this is like a hate group towards men.
Yes.
Or a hate group towards like anything.
But it can't be, since you, and this is what's so beautiful about it. And remember, ladies, the only reason I said I wouldn't be a woman is because of the period, right? But if you remove the period and you also remove the having to sit down to pee, and you also remove the having the vagina part, and I could be a woman but still be me, the best part about this whole woman's movement is if you say something against it, you hate women. Even though this movement is a hate men movement, since everything, as soon as I brought this shit up, what did you do? You had to preface it by saying, hey, I'm not trying to sound like a feminist, but this all the fucked up shit women going through. And you have already, since it's a women's group, I had to point out specific shit for you to finally be like, oh, this is a men's hate group. I didn't know that. But how with the shield that they going over, make it to where you can't call it that without you looking like a fucked up motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? And that is the only superpower of women. And I'm sorry, women, I'm not doing a blatant statement, but it's true. My daughter, you know what kind of hell my daughter can get away with in this house just because she has the superpower of that woman, and I love my daughter and shit, and I'll be like, you just finesse me, but damn it, you lucked out. It's certain shit my daughter can finesse me out of, my son can't finesse me out of. And it ain't even nothing I can't. Once I get finessed, I have to be real about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. Your daughter, your sister she got leverage. I want us to have an episode about being equal, because people get us being different conflated with equality. And people don't understand that there is a balance in this world. And they think equal means that everything's going to be equal, and that's not true. The world, even the world, Earth don't operate on that. But we'll talk about that at a later time. It's certain shit my son can finesse that my daughter can't, and vice versa. But it's still equal here. It ain't nothing that neither one of them can't do. When I say the word finesse, though, is certain shit I pay for my daughter that I won't pay for my son, if that makes sense. And it ain't out of no. It's just like I'm trying to think. Really, to be honest, no, it ain't. Both of them motherfuckers got jobs.
So this is not women empowerment. This is something else.
Okay, you tell me. Is it women empowerment?
I'm trying to learn.
But I'm asking you, from what you done heard her say, and from what you read, and from what we read on the wiki, do it sound like men hate or women empowerment? Or do it sound like
I haven't seen the whole video. You gave me what you wanted to say. I'm trying to see what
that Wikipedia was the exact origins of the shit, right? That wasn't me. You saw me read.
I mean, honestly, it's just to me being a black man, me knowing about the Black Panther movement, me knowing about Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. To be honestly, all of them people was labeled radicals as well. And to be honest with you, if you want to move anything in this world, you want anything to change, you have to. Let me say that again and paraphrase that. You have to be radical and maniacal to make anything shake, because if you just level-headed and you play fair with people, nothing will ever change. Like, in order for you to like change spending habits, you gotta change your spending habits radically. You can't be nice about your spending habits. You can't be like, oh, I spend all my money, and then you like, I'll spend all my money sometimes. No, you have to cut off all your credit cards. You have to sell your car. You have to sell your house. You have to go and live in a basement with your cousin and still work the same job. Even if you make it 200,000, it's like, I want to get out of my debt. You got to do that for 4 years. That's radical, nigga.
That is
You can't
radical.
do anything unless you're a radical.
So
If you want to stop smoking crack, if you're a crackhead and you want to stop smoking crack, you have to literally go and be a nun. You have to go to a church and do church work every day. You have to eat lettuce. You have to drink water. You have to do radical stuff in order to not be a crackhead. If you are a sex addict, you have to literally cut your dick off and stop having sex in order for you have to do this kind of stuff she's talking about. Just look at this woman. She was probably at some point a night, but I really can't tell what she looked like with the camera view, but she probably at some point had long hair. She probably used to wear makeup. She probably used to be, really, really sexy at some point. But something happened. Something happened to
wait,
her.
what you just said?
What?
You just misogynized that woman, calling her. You said she looked sexy at one point, and the reason I stopped you there is because we're about to get into that. She's about to cover that right now. Let's roll
Okay.
that beautiful bean footage.
Okay.
Advocating for their causes, prioritizing male concerns, generally all the things that don't benefit female people. Separatism generally makes it easier for female people to navigate a globally hostile political climate and economic distress. The fifth expansion is a principle called No Chat Bar. No Chat Bar basically means that we are just not talking to men. When you post to social media or...
Now, you brought up Marcus Garvey. You brought up Martin Luther King. You brought up Malcolm X. Now, when you got Marcus Garvey and, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent Malcolm X, they wanted to, we forge our own shit. However, they were cognizant enough to know that you still got to communicate with your adversary in order to be able to move and negotiate territories and shit. Did you just hear what she said? No talking to men, period. Not even too further than I'm gonna let her say it, because you about to hear some shit, and I want to hear what you got to say. Let's go.
The fifth expansion is a principle called No Chat Bar. No Chat Bar basically means that we are just not talking to men. When you post to social media or when you're at a protest and things of that nature, you're just not giving them attention. And that includes even males who are supportive of the 4B movement or claim to support the 4B movement.
That means no talking to China. Let's continue.
Because if they understood the principles, they would shut up and follow our lead. They wouldn't try to capitalize on women's attention by saying that they support the 4B movement, because that's useless. So instead of wasting our time trying to explain to them that we're not a threat, or trying to tell them that this is not about them, or trying to give them any information, just ignore. Because attention that you give to them is attention that should be spent on other female people, reaching out to them and supporting other sisters who are in the 4B movement or are supportive of the 4B movement. The sixth expansion is B supports B. That means that when you see another sister who is practicing the principles of the 4B movement, you support her. You amplify her content, you share resources with her, you share information between each other, etc., etc. The seventh...
Look at me being a 6B promoter, sharing
Hey man, let me tell you something, bro. One thing I know about women, they are organized, bro. They may pull this shit off.
Oh, yeah. So, I need people to know.
I'm talking about when women do this kind of shit. They actually this shit they actually make this happen.
Now check this out. I need the audience to understand, if you haven't watched any Super Rig related content, y'all know that usually I'm always play the devil's advocate no matter what I believe or whatever, just to always keep the balance, all right? So with that being said, where he say they go pull this off, I have some more TikToks to show you. And earlier I was playing devil's advocate against you when I was like, oh, they might, you know what I'm saying? Remember the water fountain? People didn't believe that could happen, da-da-da. Well, I got something that go contradict that as well, but we go continue with that. Let's continue what she was saying.
The principal expansion is no pink tax. The pink tax is basically wealth extraction operations against women. So, like purchasing products that really don't serve a purpose, that don't contribute to our well being, and generally serve the patriarchy. That means toxic cosmetics, which most of them are, fashion, male worship, contributing to male causes, etc., etc. Now, the eighth B expansion is no compromise with men. I think this is an appropriate time to add the eighth B because when you look at the history of activist movements in America, the local governments have done so much to quash these movements. A lot of the times, this comes in the form of appeasement. Let me explain why appeasement is a bad thing. Appeasement is a form of inspiring complicity. What they want you to do is soften your position, so they offer you something of the bare minimum in order to get you to compromise and do what they want. Just like how the FBI developed Hollywood to influence women's behavior in society. I'm also working on a deep dive of that, but that's another video on its own. If you notice, a lot of the time, when women's movements are more relaxed and more silent, so are beauty standards, so are fashion trends. But when women's movements become a threat to male systems and institutions and male supremacy, you'll see things like heroin chic, you'll see really skinny supermodels, you'll see like really crazy beauty trends, new types of makeup coming out, new ways for them to encourage you to hate your body. Like, for instance, strawberry legs. That's a very new phenomenon that's never been heard of before. Every single human has hair on their legs, but this is so they can distract you because beautification rituals take time out of your day, valuable time. Your time is your most valuable resource, and they know that, so they have to take it away. Now, let's get into the T's. Just like how the B's mean no, the T means like reject. Our Chinese sisters are brilliant for that one. So the first rejection is rejecting beauty, because beauty is not only a distraction, but it serves to cause mental instability within women. It wasn't really common for women to be distracted so heavily with their physical appearance and trying to achieve these impossible standards and trying to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of what is known as beauty. And so if you reject that, it creates a sense of stability and a sense of confidence as opposed to the alternative. The second rejection is rejecting religion, because religion teaches us that males are to lead, females are to follow, males are superior, females are inferior, and we reject that. In fact, we resent that. Religion also steals a lot of resources from women because it teaches you lies that you will have to deconstruct later in your life, and you have to pick out little bits of truth that are implanted between the lies to find out like what it really is, what life really is like. And it really destroys your entire perspective, the way you perceive yourself, the way you interact with the world, the things you participate in, your interests, the things that you think are healthy versus the things you think are not. The third rejection is rejecting idol culture. So idol culture teaches us toxic things like wanting to achieve beauty, wanting to achieve femininity, and being receptive. And being receptive is inherently harmful because it erodes your ability to enforce your own boundaries. And if you can't enforce your own boundaries, you can't advocate for yourself. And that's what they want. The fourth rejection is rejecting hypersexualization. Hypersexualization and porn culture are mental and spiritual warfare. It tells women that our only value is sexual access, men having sexual access to our bodies, no matter who we are. It creates the subconscious desire to achieve proximity to males, and this affects all female people. And the T's, or the rejections, are about protecting your subconscious, protecting your mental health, and protecting your intelligence. Intelligence is an amazing way to combat male supremacy because male power is not inherent, it's enforced. So when we're guarded, educated, and competent, male supremacy is already eroded. Stay tuned for part 2 and leave the female symbol emoji if you made it to this point.
Man, I gotta say something, bro. A lot of that shit she was saying is true. I ain't gonna front, bro. A lot of that shit she was saying, that shit was spot on, bro. She was hitting that shit. She was hitting that shit like a nail and like a hammer to a nail. When she brought up the whole sexual pleasure and men looking at women in a sexual way, that shit true, bro. A lot of men, they when they see women, it's just all about sex. Men ain't really. A lot of men are not. I don't think
decided to
most
play with
men
my
like women. To be honest with you, they want some. They want to have sex, but I don't think a lot of men actually like women. Me and my wife talk about this all the time, bro. I don't think men actually like women.
Okay, wait. And I only have one problem with your statement. You're using the word men. And that when you say men without saying some, or because what about in your friend group? It's only one person that I feel like really don't, and we just had a conversation about this motherfucker right
No,
before we
I
had this
ain't no.
conversation.
What I'm saying is like
When you say men, are you
when I'm
including
around
yourself?
when I'm around a lot of guys, bro. They're looking at women like, damn, like look at that ass, look at the breast. So I'm trying to look this.
But black people have this.
They're not wondering like if she's a cool person. Let me talk to her. Like what she does for a living. It's like there's no interest in like the actual life, the actual essence, the actual embodiment of the woman. It's sexual. It's they sexual. You're looking at women like, ooh, look, and then it's like, and I feel what she was saying, because it's like the beauty standards is like women take so much time in makeup and hair. That shit take a long time to put on makeup. It take a long ass time to get the hair right. And then all the panties, and you gotta get the right this, you gotta squeeze into the stuff, and you gotta choke your stomach to make it look to make it look smooth. Like that take hours, and then you go out and then then women. She's saying like women, they over years they've been trained to like want that, and it's like it takes away the energy you can put in something else. She kind of hitting that shit. I kind of feel on that shit a little bit, bro. Because it's all in the essence of the man. It don't really value her, because what's the value in it for her? Like for her having on tight clothes, for her putting on makeup, for the woman doing her hair, all the time she put into that. What does she get out of that? The man gets all the visual pleasure. He gets all the stimulation. He gets all of he gets all that. Like when he looking at a woman, it's like, ooh, it's all for the man's visual pleasure. She was saying this. It's like I'm listening to her, like, damn, that shit do make sense. Cause think about it, man. If a woman put time into other things, she can actually build her life off of something sustainable. Like trying to look good every day, put on all this makeup for what? For what? What is she getting out of that? That shit was making sense to me, bro. I was kind of listening to her, like, damn, like that shit do kind of make sense when you think about it, bro. Like if you think about it, you like, yo, that shit kind of makes sense, nigga. Hey man, hey, whatever, man. I'm feeling where she coming from a little bit, bro. I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm not saying I agree with everything. Some of the stuff she was kind of saying, I was like, I don't know about all that, but I think the majority of what she was saying, I was like, yo, if you put yourself in a woman's perspective, bro, that shit kind of hitting, because it's like it don't benefit them. It don't benefit a lot of that stuff women be doing. It really don't benefit them, bro. It benefits the men. Benefits men. It's all in the essence of a man, and men don't even really appreciate women. A lot of men don't even really appreciate women. They don't care about a woman's thoughts of what she thinks or how she like. Nah, I kind of feel it, bro. I'm feeling it. I feel where she coming from.
Well,
Now the whole like the other stuff, like yeah, a lot of the stuff she was saying I wasn't really feeling, but yeah, I was kind of like really, I was empathizing with her on some of that stuff. I really was.
all
But
right.
I'm not into the feminist movement. I think a lot of this stuff can be demonic, and it's harmful to young women, young girls. Yeah, it's that's difficult, man, because I really do want to see women have power and have a voice, but you could take stuff too far too. So Yeah, man.
Well, I'm prepared to fully be the seen as a misogynist, a devil.
This is what she's talking about. The fact
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you feel comfortable doing that. That's what
I
she's
know.
talking about.
Well, she was comfortable doing it. So check this out. And this, first off, I'm gonna be honest. I too understand a smidget of what she's saying, right? But in order for me to attack this, I'm gonna have to replace her with these red pill mid gal men that sit up and be like, women only want men for money. Women only use men. When a divorce happens, they take half. When it comes to kids, they get all the control. They'll get the custody. Women hate men. This world is run by women because men only do stuff for women. All right, that's the man version of this bullshit right here. Now, before I go into anything, let me separate the truths, right? The femicide shit, 100% true. Women didn't have no rights as a person, as their own individual person. They couldn't even open a bank account and shit in America without a husband. That is true. They damn near was been looked at as property for millennia. That's true. We go all agree to that shit, okay? Also, the point you made about a lot of, and I'm gonna replace the word men with some men, and I'm gonna say all boys that are attracted to women look like that, and then we kind of grow out of it. From the age of when my thing could get hard, probably all the way up to about 30 something. Yes, I did look at women like, she's bad. I'm gonna go over there, talk to her, and hopefully by the end of the night we can be butt naked. All right. Sure. I did. Me and you knew each other. Well, you always been different. You always been a sit down and can we talk for a minute ass nigga. So that's me and you is two completely different niggas when it come to that. Which is why now I understand why you saying men. Because when I think back about you and shit, you was always a respectable gentleman with the ladies, and me on the other hand was like, look, if you're not getting naked, you can go on and leave. I got to save this E&J for somebody that really
And
want me to.
that's what she's talking about.
Now, with
That's what
that
she's
being
talking
said, I grew out of that, right? I was in that mind state for a long time. And when I say I was in that mind state, it wasn't like that with all girls. The only time I was truly in that mind state is when I went to the club. When I went to the club, I didn't pay no money to get to know no damn body, all right? That was my fee to catch as many fish as I could. And before ladies get to be like, oh, you call this fish, that's objectifying. It's no different than girls that don't know shit about basketball. They go to the game and they trying to snag them an NBA player for that bad. And it's equal. I'm not mad at them that's doing it. Everybody, and we got to look at it. And I need you to tell me if you agree with this or not. Base level as human beings, we are programmed to basically reproduce, right? Like that's the base level. You ain't got to teach a human how to do that shit. Ain't no programming a human how to do that shit. If you was to drop a man and a woman and we just go eradicate any of the same sex loving people, if you was to drop a regular ass heterosexual motherfucker, man and woman on the island as infants, by the time they turn 13, 14, they go be hunching and shit, and ain't nothing you can do. You ain't have to teach them. They ain't have to have no parents. We are living organisms, no different than any other living organism. Bacteria, viruses, everybody, anything that's moving around's goal is to reproduce, okay? So, yes, we are like that just at our base level. If you all into the chakras and shit, everybody operate down here in this nasty brownish orangish area before we get to the purple crown, okay? That's just fucking human shit. Now, some dudes can like my homeboy Suave, shout out to my homeboy Suave, you, my homeboy Suave, people who have names such as that, y'all usually do be trying to y'all see it from a different point of view. I didn't view all women like that. When I met my wife initially, I did want to fucking get to know her and shit. Matter of fact, if I ever had somebody that I got in a relationship with, I did want to get to know them. It at a point when I'm talking to somebody, of course, when I see her, she got to look a certain way, and you can't even BS me on that. No offense to that woman, but I bet you $20,000 that if your wife looked like that woman, I wouldn't be calling her your wife right now, because you wouldn't even want to get to know her, right? We gotta, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Half the women that go out here and get all of this damn shit done, when you ask them, and when I say this, women, please, if you leave a comment, are all women liars? Because some women will tell you, oh yeah, I'm trying to get a man, or I'm trying to snag a ball player. But the majority of women will be like, yeah, I went and got my nails toes done because I like that shit. I went and bought these frilly drawers because I like this shit. This shit's comfortable with me and I like looking at myself in it. If you go on most women's phones, they got selfies of they self butt naked or in all sorts of shit, and they don't even send them to nobody. They just sit and look at it themselves, okay? A
But
lot of
I think she's alluding to the fact that the reason that has evolved to that is because there is a standard of beauty, and I think she's trying to. I think she's trying to illustrate the fact that the reason there is a standard of beauty because it was set by some man some time ago,
I I
and it
I
just evolved into like women doing it, like the whole BBW. Like, women, you gotta think about it, man. Women are altering their body, they're risking their lives to compete to come up to a standard of beauty, and
no, no,
she basically wants to be free from that.
no, no. Let me tell you what she is. All right, there's only two things that she is. Really, one. Either A, she had a whole bunch of trauma through her life and abuse from a male to where she feels like this, like blatant abuse towards her directly from
Probably
multiple,
has. She probably
multiple,
has. Yeah.
or, or she is a stud who done dated a whole bunch of other chicks that said they was full-blown lesbians, but they was really bi, and she was engaged to a chick, and the chick came up pregnant, and she was like, I thought you said you didn't like men. Well, Tyrone came around, and he do got that donkey, that third baby leg, so I couldn't know it. And she like, you know what? If I can get all these girls to fucking get rid of men, I will have all the pussy. That, my friend, is what I think it is. Because
Hey man,
all my
you
all
might be right. You
all
might
all,
be right.
all my
But I gotta
stuff.
say this.
What's it?
I gotta say this. You might be right on the second one. I don't know. That's funny though. That's funny. But the first thing is women have been subjected to the mindset of what men want them to be. And I believe what she's trying to create is a safe place for women to reset
Brother say he about to
and
pull up.
say, what do we want the world to, how do we want women to be viewed? We want to create that image. Because she did make a compelling statement saying that religion promotes that males are the leader and women should follow men. I'm like, that do they do talk about that in the church. Like, I'm like, bro, I grew up Mormon, right? I grew up Mormon. And as of today, from what I believe, I haven't really been involved that much. But I think to this day, I don't think women can hold priesthood in the church. Women can't hold priesthood in the church. They can't be pastors or preachers or priests in my church. A woman, I'm pretty sure a woman did not decide that. I don't think that was a collective decision. I think men said you can't be a priest or a pastor or a bishop or have priesthood.
Look, this is my thought process when it comes to this. And this goes back to what I was saying about people conflate equality with us being different. And I'm sure my wife would not have a problem with me saying this. And I got a question with you. When you run a company, and I'm gonna ask you, if you were to go into a company business with somebody, which do you think is preferable? Which do you think would be more conducive to decisions being easier made in the direction of the company having a more direct way of operating. Do you think a company should be 50-50, or do you think 49-51 would be better if you was to go in business with somebody?
You mean as a business owner?
As a business owner, you and your boy go into business, y'all start the LLC or whatever structure you choose, and it be like, all right, is this both y'all's? Is the equity 50-50, or do we have one person who, if a final say got to go through, we go, I'm gonna get that 51% and you get the 49, and I'm kind of gonna be the point runner. Which would you suggest is best for a business?
Depends on the business.
Just in general, like a lemonade stand, just in general. More likely than not is what I'm
It
saying.
depends on the responsibility of the parties involved.
So this is what I'm gonna say, because I feel more 9 times out of 10, 49-51 is best, because you always need somebody to be able to tip. If it comes to a standstill, somebody gonna be like, all right, I'm sorry, your idea is stupid. We're gonna go with this. And they got a whole of responsibility. Not saying that person who got the 51% is right or wrong, but that person's gonna be responsible for whatever the outcome of that decision is made, so people ain't stuck at a stalemate of, well, it's 50%. Because 9 times out of 10, when people actually for real on some 50-50 shit, people will break up and dissolve if it's too much of a struggle, but a power struggle, if power in one direction or not has not been established at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. In business, you do. In business, you need a clear leader to make decisive and definitive decisions, for sure.
All right. So, to me, especially in the business of America, relationships and a marriage ain't shit but a business to me as well. And I'm going to pull into the emotional part of it later, but I'm bringing this all up to say is everything she's saying I get. However, you as a husband, I'm pretty sure you would move hell and earth for your wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I as would I ain't shit. I'm talking about, she got the bodyguard or whatever the fuck she need for any situation if it's to go apart. She, of course, she got hella say here, but she on her own accord, I didn't have to ask her for nothing. 9 times out of 10, when it comes to certain shit, she's gonna be like, all right, so how you want to handle it? What you gonna do? I ain't have to go and be like, hey, submit to me. This and that. She just respect my decision making skills. And sometimes when it comes to certain decisions, I'm like, hey, babe, what you think, right? But if we was to just put everything on some paper shit, just on some how everything run and da-da-da-da, and I would be the 51%. And that's just because, and I didn't have to ask for that. I didn't have to browbeat her. I didn't have to disrespect. Matter of fact, I respected her. I always ask her opinion about shit, and she just chooses to delegate that extra 2% over on my side, or 1%, or however the damn math goes. I don't know math. I get what she is saying, but I feel like this is coming from a place of she has not been in a space of feeling actual love from a man in any capacity. So her own, and I get it, out of self-preservation, she like, fuck all dudes. When with any human, if somebody is not of a fucked up nature, we all pretty much just on some, I know you done seen the videos of little kids that don't get taught what's the difference between race, and just all races of kids so sit and play with each other, babies, or you got to teach them to hate each other like that. You see what I'm saying? I feel it's the same thing, and I get the frustration of the plight of a lot of women, what they go through. However, this, I feel, is a very dangerous rhetoric, and also there are plenty of women that, not only my pops was a fantastic father of my sisters or whatever, which taught me, and he was a great provider for the women in his life. He always was honest, which taught me to always be honest. And I'm always honest with all the women I deal with. I ain't never lied to no damn body. I ain't never tricked nobody to do nothing. I just fucking be real. And even though earlier when I was talking about when I saw a woman, I'm like, look, if we'll get naked or not, to me, that's just being honest and not wasting their time. It's a lot of dudes that will fake wanting to have a relationship, will fake trying to really like, oh, let me write you some poetry, get to know you better, and then smash, and then next thing you know, they gone. Or they put up this front. To me, that's fucked up. I'm saying all this to say, I get her rhetoric, but she talking as if all men hate women. And that's why when earlier you were like, yeah, I don't even think men like women. Fuck that. When I was younger, even though I looked at a girl and was like, yeah, I want to smash, if you ask any girl that I mess with, other than the ones where they was messing with one of my homeboys or something or whatever, and then I told my homeboy about it and they got mad about it and then tried to make me look like I was fucked up when I was just offering penis and they took it. Even then, in retrospect, I was like, you know, Super was cool. He fed me. He did this, or he took me here, or he helped me out with some shit, or he helped me get or whatever. Cause I don't dislike women. I don't hate women. I might look at you and be like, yes, I would like to have sex with you, but I don't look at them as object with them in themselves. Not saying I have never done that or done that. But I was young and just going off my loins. I was just letting the little head run shit. And it wasn't even just an object. It was just my fucking, you know, in my head, it's just like, I want to try that one. I want to try that one. I want to try that one. Not objectifying, because I'm cool with pretty much 99.9% of every woman that I ever had, you know what I'm saying, dealt with. Or if I was to speak to them, they wouldn't be like, oh, you know, super fucked up dude or nothing like that, right? Because I respect them as a human. Now, with me respecting them as a human don't mean I don't look at them and be like, oh, yeah, I want that. Yeah, both can be true. Now, I feel like, and me and you talked about this earlier, the dudes that hate women or whatever, I feel they are the reverse of her. A lot of women don't understand that they can traumatize dudes at a young age as well. Women don't understand that dudes that got rejected repeatedly at a youth, you can reject somebody nice, or you be like, bitch ass ugly ass thing, if you don't get the fuck away from me. You hear that 8 bajillion times growing up and shit. And it's not no blame or nothing, because everybody needs to learn how to deal with trauma and be able to process it, you know, in a good way, which a lot of people don't know how to process it, or don't have people to teach them the tools or give them the tools to process it. So, in which I think she's one of them. They grow up, and instead of trying to find a way to deal with their trauma, they be like, all right, these people did me dirty like this. That whole sex gotta pay for all of the shit that these 4 motherfuckers did to me, or this 2 motherfuckers did to me, or this, you know what I'm saying? Or this motherfucker that teased me. Or for women, some women is way deeper than just getting teased and shit. I just found out a very close friend of mine had got molested by one of our babysitters, which was an older woman. And this dude told me how it fucked his whole view up of women. We was like 6 or 7 when this shit happened. He told me this, and we in our 40s now. And he was like, man, that shit fucked me up. And I was like, get the fuck out of here for real. I ain't know that shit happened to you and shit. And a lot of that happened to dudes as well. If you listen to Richard Pryor grew up in a whorehouse, and his first sexual experience was one of his mom's whore friends, right? Which he said stayed his view of women for the rest of his life. He was only like 11 or something when that shit happened. You see what I'm saying? So it happens, of course. Don't get it twisted. I'm sure. I know the statistics. It happens way more on the woman's side. But what I'm trying to say is people go through the trauma and stuff and are not provided the tools, which I feel at minimum, our government should be giving us free healthcare and free access to mental health as well to process all of this shit. But that's not the case, right? So a lot of these people go through that shit and then be like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck all it. Fuck that whole other side forever. And since I'm saying fuck it, them bitches over there need to say fuck that shit too. And next thing you know, any bitch that be like, you know what? I like my guy. My husband treat me fine. I'm cool with you doing that shit, but I will not be partaking in the 4B. But I hope, it looked like a scab from if somebody go on strike right there, but they'll turn against all women. Even if women want to understand their movement and want to support, they'll be like, nah, you fuck with dudes. We can't even take help from you. Same thing with the dude. She clearly said, if we are at a protest and a man claims he wants to be a part of it, we will ignore him. And I have to think about it, dude. And I feel like this is what she mean. If one of them motherfuckers gets to choking and somebody said, "This is a doctor in the house," and a dude said, "Me, I can save her," they would ignore him and let their friend die from the way she talking.
I think the purpose of that is to stand up for what they're believing in and be taken very serious,
I think
even
the purpose,
even if it results in death.
yes, and I agree with you that radical, you got to take shit to the max. However, I don't think that this is a productive thing because I'm going to say something that is very radical thought process, and a lot of people are probably going to push back, but the only reason, I'm going to repeat this, ladies. The only reason men want to be successful, and there's a lot of dudes that's going to push back. Guess what? You can go to hell. The main reason most men, let me go to most because I hate the blanket statement, but I'll put a percentage on it. I think 87.8% of men want to be successful, and most want to be millionaires. The 87% of people that want to really see M's is so that they can have their selection of women, and they want their selection of women for they know that majority of women like comfort. It ain't even about money. It's about comfort, and money affords comfort. So men want to be millionaires so they can have the most comfortable surroundings, the most comfortable looking shit, so that they don't even have to. And I'll give you a little grace. This does wrap around it. Because I don't think men don't not like women, but it is very hard, especially when you're younger, to kind of understand how women think. That's why marriage is hard for a lot of people, because most men and women, we value two different things. As a man, I will spend all day at work because my brain is like, all right, I need this money so I can keep this comfortable life for my wife. And then she'll be like, oh my gosh, my life's so comfortable. My husband is great. When a woman's mind state is, I really want to just sit and cuddle with my man and have a deep conversation. And the whole comfort shit, they cool, but they would rather sit and talk to us. And it takes a lot of communication back and forth to get them to understand, like, look, okay, I want to talk to you, but do you want us to sit and talk on this motherfucking damn futon from Walmart, or would you like this nice plush ostrich leather couch to do it on? And then y'all come to a consensus. Be like, well, it don't have to be ostrich, but you right. I don't want to be on the futon. How about we just get a regular leather couch, and can you cut your hours in half, and we can just get the leather couch, and then I can have my quality time with you, and we can be in comfort. And boom, now we done met in a circle. But too many people take shit to the max, be like, nah, we gotta get the ostrich, bitch. I'm sorry, we gotta get it. Or the woman be like, nah, I gotta talk to you all day on the phone. I don't give a fuck if you got meetings and shit. And if you ain't talking to me on the phone, that mean you fucking another bitch. She'd be like, hold the fuck. And to me, this is extreme. But back to the thing that I said is gonna piss people off. This whole world, everything that a man does for men that actually do like women is to impress women. Now, I will say that we do get in our little egos sometimes and do want to impress our homeboys and shit. But you know what impresses our homeboys more than anything else? You know what will impress a dude's homeboys more than having a Lamborghini or something like that? Having a very desirable woman. And guess what? The very desirable woman ain't got to have a BBL. She ain't got to have no fake titties. She ain't got to have no fucking crazy makeup. Matter of fact, most dudes are most impressed when you bring a chick that ain't got no kind of, if she come in and she is beautiful without the makeup, we go be like, oh my gosh, yeah, where'd you get that from? Where'd you meet her and stuff? Da 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 da. We don't care about makeup. They care about makeup. And this go back to what we was talking about earlier. Marketing has tricked women into thinking that men give a fuck about makeup when we give zero fucks about. Let me say that again. Men give zero fucks about makeup. These corporations that need to sell y'all makeup done sold them the dream that we give a fuck. Same thing with Victoria's Secret. Most men, because I done met some weirdo niggas that do like the lingerie shit, but most of us like y'all's body, butt ass. That is the most sexiest thing. Why the hell do I want 2 pieces of cloth that I gotta take off in the first place? But guess who wanted to make y'all think that we like that shit? The corporations that make thongs, the corporation that make the bras, the sexy shit. They had to tell y'all that, hey, if you want to turn your man on, wear these bras and panties and shit, and you'll wear his mind out. You know most men, the men who be impressed by panties and drawers, like them niggas want to wear that shit. Okay, them is most of the niggas that's impressed by that shit. Them niggas will put it on at any time. Okay, so most of these. And let's go back to that conversation we had. The most division that's being caused by men and women, especially when it comes to this beauty shit, is caused by a word that I like to call capitalism. Because if I can find a way to make you feel like the opposite sex really wants something, same thing with sports cars and all that shit, or having a crazy ass career with a waterfall in it and all sorts of shit. We see that shit on the damn TV shows, rap videos, and you see all the girls pee popping by the pool. You be like, I need me a jacuzzi in my living room so the girls can come pee popping in my living room. Fuck it, I need to be a millionaire because I don't think my McDonald's check is gonna give me a jacuzzi in my living room. That is what pushes it. Dave Chappelle said this a very long time ago in his Killing Them Softly stand up. If men could get women by living in a cardboard box, wouldn't no nigga buy your house? I wouldn't give a. I'd have the most basic cardboard house that I could find. And I'm gonna be honest. If you got enough personality and a woman likes you enough, you actually can pull them in a cardboard house. To be honest with you, let's be honest. When people really like each other, that material shit go out the window. I'm be dead serious, y'all. Tell me if that's not true or not.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and as a matter of fact, I wouldn't want to be with nobody who gave a fuck about my material shit. And I got a daughter. Now, this is where the whole me being contradicting myself. Now, if my daughter brought home a brokey, I'd be like, listen, daughter, all right, I need you to understand this. You love Curtis, don't you? Well, you need to do something to erase those feelings. Curtis don't got shit, all right? And love don't pay the bills. You need to make an executive decision and get rid of Curtis. Because I'm not helping. I'm not helping y'all out at no time. And unfortunately, that is the double standard, right? That's the double standard. And then I have to just break boy code. I'm like, look, Curtis trying to smash, all right? He don't got nothing. Let me guess. Curtis is funny and he fun to talk to, and your girlfriend said he was fine, didn't he? I figured that. Drop Curtis very fast. He probably smashed your homegirl. I'm gonna have to hate on Curtis, right? But even as a father, I think I'm doing the right thing. But I'm probably doing the most detrimentally wrong thing to my daughter, period, by doing that. Because I don't know if Curtis might be able to turn around his financial shit. And my camera died, y'all. I think both my cameras died too. So y'all might not be able to see me for the rest of this thing. But I'm saying all this to say this. I feel where she coming from, but I really do feel like this is not the right way to go about it. I don't think this is like I told you, and you know I joke a lot, China. You know I joke a lot, but I really think this is just a whole bunch of studs just trying to corral a bunch of vagina for themselves. That's really
that could be the case, but I'm not saying I'm going to be at their next rally. Supposedly they would support me if I was there anyway, but
They might throw rocks at you, my nigga.
they might. But all I'm saying is I empathize with some of the stuff she's saying. I've had many discussions with women, my wife, my mom, and I mean, when you look at the journey, when you look at the the stigma around women and what they can do, and like the things that's said about women, and all the work that's been done to stop domestic violence, all of the rhetoric about women, women's rights, and the reproductive legislation they got out there. It's like I can see how women can feel like men are wanting to control everything in their life and dictate what they can do and what they can't do. And I just get it, man. I understand, bro. Like if I was in their shoes, like if I was a woman, I would probably be part. I would probably participate what she got going on. Just stick it to the man. Cause I mean, you do. I mean, you gotta think about it, man. If somebody was doing you like that, man, like
Wait, 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 wait,
sexualizing you
wait,
and the whole
wait,
nine, like
wait. Pump brakes. The shit that she talking about. Do you do that to your wife?
no,
Did your pops do that to your sisters?
no.
Can you really think of any women that you just blatantly, just full blown disrespected on purpose because you
No,
don't like women?
but listen to me when I say this, bro. Yeah, my family members didn't do that. I didn't do that to my wife. I don't do that to women. But I can say here, because I'm a realist, I don't oust guys when they do it. And that's the problem.
You say what?
I don't oust men when they do it. I don't when I see men objectify, when I see men saying stuff about women or objectify women or whatever, the rap songs, the this, that, and the third, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this stuff just like everybody else is. When I
What
see
you
men
gonna do?
catcalling women, I don't say, "Hey, man, that's not right." I don't police guys,
But I'm
and that's the
saying,
problem.
wait. So if you out at dinner with your homeboys,
Uh
y'all at a table,
huh.
and you done been to me, and I didn't talk crazy like a motherfucker in certain places and shit. It wasn't objectifying women, but still though, if you out at the table and y'all having a private conversation and the conversation is not being heard, it's 100% you can guarantee it's not being heard by the party that they are objectifying. Why would you say something? What you supposed to say? If they have not, is what he's saying there, is it disrespect if nobody who would take offense to it don't even hear it? And also, who are you to know that she would feel disrespected? How
That's
you
all
know?
valid, man. That's all valid. But what I'm saying is like all I'm saying is that the men have a culture within the community of men, just men, period,
Okay.
to objectify women. And even if a man doesn't agree or disagrees, there's no, there's no, I don't think there's a safe space for even men to be like, I disagree or this doesn't sound right because, for one, like you just said, it's not worth the argument. And for two, it's like it's not physically abusive to women at that moment because I'm not gonna deal with anybody abusing women in front of me.
Oh
But
no.
what I'm
Well,
saying is that I compartmentalize that stuff. Like when I'm around men and men being dicks, they saying all kind of crazy stuff about women, cracking jokes. I just I'll compartmentalize this stuff like he just being a man. Like I don't, it's like subconsciously I don't even like it don't even register with me. It just flows like whatever, you
I,
know. And I probably even said some crazy shit about women before. It's like it's just in men culture. We do
uh,
that shit.
let me. I had to go up to the nice chat GPT because I have to know what objectifying women means before I can have this conversation, or so I can continue so I can better look like the bad guy some more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look like the bad guy. I'm sorry, you guys. Y'all gonna hate my guess. Objectifying women refers to treating or viewing women as objects rather than as a fully realized human being with their own thoughts, feelings, and anatomy. This often involves reducing women to their physical appearance, body parts, or sexual attributes, and it can happen in various ways, such as through media portals, advertising, or interpersonal interactions. When objectified, women may be valued primarily or exclusively for their looks or perceived attractiveness rather than their intelligence, skill, and other qualities. Examples of objectification can include media content that focuses solely on a woman's body or sexual appeal, language or behaviors that trivialize a woman's experiences or contributions, focusing only on appearance, social or cultural attitudes that reinforce stereotypes about women, such as portraying them as passive or submissive. Objectification can have serious effects on mental health, self-esteem, and body image, both for individuals who are objectified and for others who internalize these views. Combating objectification involves recognizing women as a whole, complex person, and supporting representations that highlight diverse qualities and capabilities. All right, I will say this. Let me go back. As a youth, I guess no. And let me tell you why I keep saying no. Because I'm always gonna look at it from this point of view. I was always looking at women like I'm looking, if something is attractive, I want to look at it, and then I want to get to know that person. And me personally, I'm just gonna speak for myself, and I think a lot of other people can understand or come from this. There are times where I was like, yo, I want to get to know this chick. And, me saying chick, people are like, oh, look at you, misogynist. Damn it, I'm sorry. I want to get to know this woman. And, but I hung out with her and I was like, all right, personality, all right. Let me see what it's after, like, after we do something. Let me see if it's gonna click after that. Because sometimes we clicked and then we smashed and then it's like, that was not what I thought it was gonna be. Sorry. And I'm sorry, I can't be in a wax sex relationship, okay? The thing is, unfortunately, I get what they mean by objectifying, right? However, I don't see it that way. Even when it comes to, and let me tell you why I don't see it that way. Let me make sure I'm coming, because I understand and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I agree with seeing points to her view. I feel that the radical part of it is not conducive to them moving ahead in being able to acquire what they trying to get, because this is the whole thing about it, right? The last big movement of somebody saying I hate this group and we about to eradicate them loudly and on megaphones and speakers was well, that the world knows, because genocides and shit still happening. Genocides is happening as me and you talking right now. It's a huge genocide that's occurring right now. But the last biggest movement that I think everybody know about was what? World War II and the whole whole Holocaust stuff and all of that stuff, right? When you come with a whole, I hate this whole group of people, and they not using the word hate, right? And a lot of the times when it comes to the genocide, they don't never say the word hate. They'll just be like, yo, these people are a detriment to us, so we need to, move away from them. At the end of the day, that only lasts for so long before balance comes and then eradicates that huge threat that just wants to dismantle this one entire side. You see what I'm saying? And they are, the position that they setting themselves in is, since we are, and I gotta acknowledge it, in a patriarchal society, that movement is not going to get too much push. And I was trying to find a TikTok of the girls, but I don't, of women that are going against this movement and are saying, what is it? It's called the 4B. movement. I'm trying to find. It's one TikTok. It's a lot of TikToks where a lot of women are like, yeah, motherfucker, you crazy. Let me find. It was one really good one though. Hold on, I might be able to find it. And let me share my screen because women are really, you got some women really shaving their heads, and in their mind it's like, oh, we gotta look ugly for men. But the thing is, what women don't understand is if you attractive, you shaving your head ain't gonna do shit. Attractive is attractive. I hate that women think that attractive is some shit that they can put on when you could just be attractive, period. But it's this one chick, and if somebody could in the comments show me how I can go to my saved, because I don't see nothing here that say saved, um where I can look at my saved as, because I saved it. I thought I saved it, but I don't see nothing where it say I can find my saved TikToks. I sure saved it. It say no more results. And she was sitting in the car really talking about how women fucking themselves up with this 4B shit. Especially talking about the women that what am I trying to say? The women that's already in relationships and they trying to talk them into leaving their men and stuff like that. It's like, what is wrong with you? But hold on, we go watch this one right here. Hold on, let me see.
Y'all don't want to do the 4B movement in America because you can't close your legs.
That ain't it. And she married. She was doing a joke about it. Let's see. Could you hear that?
Uh-oh.
You couldn't hear when I played it? Well, damn
Mm.
it. If I can't find this one little mama,
I gotta watch streams. You know what I'm saying? It's like a porn site. What you got going on?
man, it's TikTok.
Same thing.
Exactly. I hate TikTok, but I'm on here because I had got links to some shit.
I'm gonna run out of here in a minute too, bro.
Oh no, I'm about to get the hell off of this motherfucker anyway too, because we went into a bunch of shit. But yeah, I can't find little mama that was talking, but it is what it is. So let's just wrap it up. Final thoughts on this whole 4B thing. I got 3 questions. The first one is, do you think this is a movement that is needed? And when I say needed, is this a movement that's needed for all women? When you have a daughter, is this needed by your sisters? Do you feel the women in your family need to adapt to this movement? Is what I'm saying when I say it's needed. And do you think for the women that's already a part of it that this will bring the change that they're looking for?
For my family, no. There's not. I don't. My family members, the women in my family are very well protected by, male abuse or whatever you want to name it. So I would like to think they feel secure in themselves as a woman, and they believe in them, women empowerment, and they don't need to fight against men or disassociate themselves with men or uh, kill, you know, the progress between men and women. I don't think the women in my family think like that. Um, and my thoughts around, um, should women gravitate towards this? Should women join a movement like this? I think if
And
there are
will it
women
be
out there,
beneficial? And will it
will
be
it be?
beneficial?
Yeah, if it could be beneficial to women in certain parts of the world. Yes, in America, no, because America has compared to the rest of the world. I think women's rights in America supersede the entire planet. I think once you leave the states, I think as a woman, you are screwed. That's just my opinion from what I see around the world. Like everything, and I got those views of. I kind of agree with a lot of stuff she's saying because I see this in other parts of the world. Women don't have a shot. They just
Mm.
don't. The men outside of America, I don't think they treat women with respect at all. They have no respect. They don't give women's rights. I can't think of a country outside of the United States that women are that have rights. But the crazy part about it is women may be safer. They may be safer in other countries as far as like abuse and all this kind of, but as far as like women empowerment, having careers and building businesses, you're not gonna see that anywhere outside the United States. That ain't happening. So
Mm,
I
okay.
just I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I mean, Japan, women kind of outside of like, unless you talking about like top of CEO type shits, yes, that's all boys club and
Well,
shit. But
I don't know too much. I've been to Japan. I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant to Japan when it comes to that. But just far as like the progress I've seen with women in the United States, I have not seen that anywhere else in the
oh,
world.
I totally agree. If you gonna be a woman in the United States is where you want to be a woman at. I totally agree with you on that. My thought process on it is I totally understand if you watch the podcast channel before, the whole taking away of Roe versus Wade, I'm 100% against that. And that was just not only because I got a daughter, but I just feel like everybody should have control over their body no matter what you want to do with your body. I don't care, no matter what it is, man, woman, whatever the fuck you want to do with it. I feel everybody should have total autonomy over their body. On the same token, I know women don't see this because it's a lot of insecure men or traumatized men, or some men are just pure like, to your point, it's some men that don't like women for sure, right? And some they got a reason, or they'll be able to rationalize it. Some just because a lot of people try to put mental health on shit. Some people are just flat foot evil, okay, you guys. Some people are just bad apples, right? That being said, I'm gonna stand behind this 100%. In America, especially, most well-adjusted men don't want to do nothing but find a woman to cake on. Okay, that's what most men want to do. Most men want to get their money up and find somebody to blow it on. That's why strip club culture is big as it is. Surprisingly enough, a lot of men who got a lot of money just want to give it to women. Period. And it's a lot of men that go to strip clubs and they'll just have a woman in there and don't even get dances and be paying her bills. Don't see her outside the strip club and will just sit there and give her money. I think most of the men that do the bad objectifying, because I look at objectifying as the word how we was looking at what was that word we was debating on today? That means taking advantage of exploitation. I look at objectifying as I do exploitation, right? I believe everything is objectified until you look at it deeper. I think women objectify men. I don't think women look at men on some I want to get to know this motherfucker either. I think women look at men and be like, how big is it and how much money does he have? Then we can work with everything else. Sorry, that's just what I think. All right, I think everybody objectifies each other because we are all human beings that are just here to reproduce. But at the end of the day, I think this movement is not needed by the majority of women. I don't think it's gonna get adopted by the majority of women. And the more that we talking, yeah, this is just a plan for studs to get all the vagina. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this hella long podcast. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna probably break it up into some shit to smaller segments. What do you guys think? Please put your thoughts in the comments. You can go on and send all Super Rig is a misogynist asshole to superrig is a misogynist asshole at gmail.com, and you can send all of the emails saying we like that China, you need to have him on more often emails to the crack of your ass. All right, guys. See you guys on the next show. Peace out.